Hi, I'm Ramesh Caussy from Partnering Robotics, and thank a lot for Samsung team and Luc for giving us the opportunity to present some part of our work. So, Partnering Robotics is a young enterprise that has invented the Awanix, the well-being robot, the first robot that is gifted with a neuro-inspired artificial intelligence that gives him the ability to navigate into very large size environments. So most of the robots that you will see today are using slime approach for their navigation performance. We have taken the risk to develop a neuro-inspired approach because we deeply believe that for robots to be successful, for service robots especially, we need to have the ability to understand emerging environments where people are working, where people are living. So this is why we have used a model that, in fact, has been developed, by some researcher to understand all the mammal species are navigating. In fact, we are using artificial neural network, but also a simplified model of the brain structure of some mammals. For example, the rats. The rats are very interesting because they are able to perform in a very good way their navigation, but they are not burning a lot of resources, they are not burning a lot of energy. And this is a very interesting property. Because think about it, when you want to create products, if you are not able to industrialize the product at the very low cost, then you will lose a big chance to be successful. So industrialization is very important when we're talking about technology. So this bio-inspiration approach, inspired by the nature, when the nature is able to do a lot with almost a little, is extremely interested. So today the robot, just with a simple camera, the robot is able to detect some landmark, some visual points that are very resilient, and then is building his own navigation path. And what is very remarkable is that my robot is able to do that in very large space where people are working, where the objects are moving. Today, 500 square meters, 1,000 square meters, and tomorrow much more, is the best performance that is existing on the market. So we are very proud of that because this is a first worldwide for an autonomous mobile robot. So I try to give an idea about the performance that my neuro-inspired artificial intelligence is performing. So everyone knows DeepMind and the AlphaGo example, when a fixed machine was able to defeat, the best champion that we have at the Go game. But if we look at what has been developed, it is a fixed service. The system is able to do, of course, a very complex calculation, integrating a huge amount of data, but all this requires very heavy system. My robot can do a very good navigation in real dynamics environment, so it's not fixed. It's moving everywhere. It's also able to use past experience to develop its understanding of the context where it's going to do the service. And this is extremely innovative, particularly to find adaptive paths using idiotetic and allotetic information. So we're using a very light system, but a system that is also able to get connected with the cloud and use other cognitive application. So if you think about it, autonomous navigation is disruptive, very disruptive. It means that we are creating opportunities to develop new kind of application in various domains. In the interaction domain, in the indoor localization domain, in the connectivity, connection domain, data visualization domain. But also what I wanted as an entrepreneur is to have an impact on the society. So our first use case is very targeted on real problem. I'm sure that you all know that we are spending on average 90% of our time in indoor environment when the air is very polluted. And it is a global concern. I was one week ago in China, huge problem. I was yesterday in India, in Delhi. It's very difficult. You can see the pollution in the indoor environment. It's really crazy. So air pollution in indoor environment is one problem, but not only the air pollution, the level of sound, the level of luminosity, temperature, humidity, all these kind of phenomena that are not good for our well-being. So think about it. We are going to the moon, we are going on Mars, but we don't even know what is happening in indoor environment. This is why my robot, the A1X, is able to measure 7-on-7 the air quality, temperature, humidity, sound, and so on. But it's not just taking information, which is, by the way, an excellent thing. It's also able to clean the air. And here, this is a shift in paradigm, you know. Most of the time, people think that for building, cleaning the air is the job of the central air. But the reality is that the central air cannot do the job alone. You know, it is very polluted, and for good reason. The outside air is polluted. The product we're using in the indoor also generates a form of pollution. So it is more and more difficult for the central air to perform the job. With my robot, cooperating with the central air, we have demonstrated that we can improve the air quality. And it has been validated by the CSTB, the Scientific Center for Technology of Building. So it's not just a proof of concept. It's a product that we are selling today, and we are very happy of this. In fact, we're using the same technology that you have in a surgery room when you are open body. So it gives a good function. But we have a robot. We are measuring. We are cleaning the air. But what the robot is also doing is producing in real time granular mobile big data for indoor. And we are able to give this data square meter by square meter. So in fact, we are virtualizing the presence of hundreds of sensors of different kinds. And the robot is also able to recalibrate the data, the validity of the data. So this is something very interesting to produce these massive sets of data. But you know, data are difficult for people to read. We just don't need to have raw data. We need data that we can understand in a very simple way. We need to have a good data visualization. This is why, again, we cooperate with the CSTB to develop this kind of data visualization that we call live data. In one dashboard, you can see all the parameters of the indoor environment. So with one eye, you know that your air quality is good, and you don't even think about it. So it shows that the combination of disruptive technology plus new kind of data, mobile data, help to build new perception of the reality of the environment. So we have raised the bar, but in another way, we try to provide another experience. We know we all like to have the weather forecast, the map of the outdoor weather. So with my robot, you can have indoor data maps, and you can see that in a very dynamic way. So you can see also the phenomenon that is happening. You have an example here, for example, on air quality and also on level of sound. So it is very visual, and it helps people to know where they are in their environment. But above that, having information is good, but you have also the possibility to give information to the robot and then to the system. It means that you don't have just, like for a mobile, for example, you want to have data, you go and you look at your mobile. Here, the robot is passing by, so the information is coming to you. So thanks to this autonomous navigation, we are able to raise the bar in terms of interaction between the data, the people, and the system. And again, it helps to create a good level of awareness and of interaction. So if you look at what we have produced, we have good technologies. We have creating possibilities because we can look at my robot like a new robot, but also you can say, oh, it is a kind of mobile IoT because the networks of sensors are moving. Or you can say it is mobile big data. But what is interesting is that when you couple that with new kind of interaction, hyper-localized real-time interaction, you have a new platform of services. And the way I have conceived the architecture of my robot is that the architecture of service is very open. What does it mean? It means that you can add more hardware, more technology into the robot, but also then you can add more software to develop new kind of services. It has taken me almost 8 years to develop this artificial intelligence, the services, the robot, a production unit. But with only a few months, you will be able to create your own service with my robot. So it is an ecosystem enabler. It's not just a single product, it's a real platform. And as an example, we made at the Galeries Lafayette something very interesting. The robot is in at the level, where there are the shops. The robot is passing the information to the central air. He's saying to the central air, here, the quality of the air is good. You don't have to run at 100%. You can create modulation. You work at 90%, for example. And then Galeries Lafayette is making huge energy saving. So it is very interesting to combine return on investment and return of experience because the customer like to see the robot. On the other way, the robot can say to central air, the air quality is not good, and the situation is going to be worse. So you work, I work with you, and so we diminish the treatment time by 50%. So this is solid experiment data that we have now that help to build very relevant service. Also, you can look at my open service platform as a multi-AI platform because, us as human beings, we have conquered the world when we have discovered our possibility to move, to navigate into the environment by moving from the trees to conquer the world. So now you have a robot gifted with a very good navigation system, but this robot can embed other kind of artificial intelligence, deep learning, other machine learning, and so on. So we will see that intelligence artificial will have different kind of families, but these different kind of families can work on my platform, my AI platform. So we have a platform AI for other AI. So think again about the possibility. So today we have started our commercial deployment. In fact, it's more than 1 year. We are very lucky to have Fortune 500 companies. We already win the first tens of customers, some good names, because we have also an innovative business model. We are not selling robot. We are selling robot as a service. So people pay for a service, not for a robot. Okay? So this is very important because for the price of a coffee per person per day, you can have my robot. And the mathematics works. So it shows also that business model is part of the innovation. At Partnering Robotics, today we have 47 people. We are in France. It's not easy, believe me, but we make it. We have people in artificial intelligence, in sociology, in electronics, in data, because we believe in what we call interdisciplinary research. And this is what we did from the day one. Not just having people good in technology, but having people good to think usage, people good to think how this kind of platform will be coming into the different industries. And for my part, I have the great chance to create other products for big firms in the past. So I know a little bit how these dents sometimes happen. And it will be my last slide, but probably the most important one for me as an entrepreneur. Today, we have opened our Series Bs. It's few weeks now that we're looking to raise 15 million euros. Why? It's very simple. We want to scale now. but I'm dreaming that my robot is everywhere on the planet. With my company or with a great partner, the option for me is open. But what I want is my robot to be known, because we did something great. I want to go in India, in China. We are started to sell robots in Dubai. We're very proud of that because they've got a lot of buildings and big problem with well-being and air quality. But I will be very delighted to have more players and investors, that probably you are, to come and discuss with me. Because think about it, from day one, our name is Partnering Robotics. You know why? Because I have the experience that you can never do things alone. Samsung cannot do things alone, as their president said, but a startup is the same way. We need to cooperate, and this is why partnering means that we are ready, we are open to change ourselves to reach our goals, to have my robot known in the world. Thank you very much for your attention.